This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening and welcome to the May 27, 2025 meeting of the North Haven Board of Police Commissioners. My name is Larry Lazaroff. I'm the chairman. To my left is Vice Chairman Bob Hannon. To his left is Commissioner Paul Wyman. To my right is our Secretary Mark Calafiore. And to his right is Commissioner Alden Mead. I'd first like to ask for the approval of the minutes of the April 30th, 2025 special meeting, both regular and executive session, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any correspondences?
Mr. Chairman, we have no correspondence this evening.
For my chairman's report, I will be brief. I just want to mention that this month, in particular the week of May 11th, is the Police Memorial Week. And we unfortunately have an officer in this department who passed away in the line of duty. The anniversary of his end of watch is May 29th, this Thursday, and it's 45 years since Officer Timothy Laffin passed away in the line of duty. So I'd like to ask for a moment of silence, please, in his honor, and all of us have made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. I want to thank the department for a great showing during the parade and the honor guard. I saw some videos. I could not make it personally, but it was a great showing, and it was nice to see. Reminder, as a monthly reminder, to please lock everything, your cars, your homes, your sheds. Be extra careful because we're going into summer now. You're going to see a lot more people out there walking, a lot more children at play. So be careful, please, as you're driving. And also, just as a public service reminder, that the concerts on the green start tonight, and they're every Tuesday for the next 13 weeks. So if you have the availability and the weather's conducive for you, I'd highly recommend you enjoy the concerts provided by the Town of North Haven. With that, I'll pass over to the chief.
Thank you. I'll start as usual with our budget at the end of period 10, which is the end of April. We're at 82.6% expended. We're right on track where we want to be, plus or minus 0.5% to close out the year on June 30th. Overtime continues to be the highest tracking number, something that affects our budget the most. A big part of that is because of our dispatchers. As you know, we're back down to 5 dispatchers. At this point, we have 2 conditional offers out to hire new full-time dispatchers. We have a part-time dispatcher in the background phase as we speak, and 1 dispatcher starting on June 2nd. So we're heading in the right direction, but it's impacted this year's budget significantly. We also have some overtime expenditures that we anticipate receiving some grant funding to reimburse us for. Hopefully that comes in sometime in June, so we'll be balancing our books before the end of the fiscal year. Next year's budget, fiscal year 25-26, passed at the first referendum, as I'm sure the commissioners know. So that budget's in place for us. We're in good shape. Included in that budget, among some other improvements, is 1 more additional police position. The initial request was for 2. That was cut during the workshop process, and there's 1 included, or at least the funding for 1 more, which will bring us up to 59 total sworn full-time officers. Does anybody have any questions as far as the budget goes with this fiscal year coming to a close, or the new fiscal year budget that has passed?
Quick one, did that include the new firearms? Sidearms?
No.
No.
Okay, moving on to traffic. Sergeant DePascal oversees our distracted driving grant. The whole department did a really nice job this year with that, filling as many shifts as possible to look for people on their cell phones while they're driving or otherwise distracted. We spent approximately $21,000 in overtime to fund those shifts, or to fill those shifts. We anticipate $21,000 coming back to the town to help us balance that budget that I mentioned earlier. It was well-staffed, and the traffic stops that you'll hear in a few minutes reflect that staffing level. We began our regional traffic enforcement campaign that we did last year. That started earlier this month. They're on pace to hold an enforcement effort about once a week, and that rotates through the 6 towns that participate. So you may see a large group of officers from out of town in North Haven in the next week or two, and that's what that's for. The Department of Transportation, over the last few months, initiated a project in town on local roads, not state roads, where they identified roads that had sharp curves in neighborhoods. They identified the locations, they went out and they installed a number of different signs, curve ahead signs, and some hash marks around the curve itself. Since they were installed, we received several complaints from certain neighborhoods, and rightfully so, some very quiet neighborhoods without any crash data to support the signage. So Sergeant DePasquale is taking care of that. He started already. He's reaching out to everyone who either had a complaint or an inquiry about the signs. In the June meeting, we'll have a report I'll be able to present to the commission regarding what signs were put up, what signs we would like to take down to satisfy our residents' concerns, and what signs we'd like to keep up. And we'd be looking for a motion next month to support that. And the motion in regards to keeping the signs up allows us to document internally what signs are exactly where. So 5, 10, 15 years from now, if somebody has a question or a sign needs to be replaced, we have the documentation to support that.
Question for you.
Sure.
So these signs were put up without coming before the board then, obviously, right?
They were.
Okay. So are we supposed to be notified so we see if we're part of traffic? So
We are, yeah, absolutely. So I think DOT made a mistake on this one. It started in 2021, believe it or not. And a lot of their projects are, they announce the project, they look for a letter of support from myself as the traffic authority representative, and you all are the traffic authority, and a letter from Mr. Frieda supporting the idea, and then the project doesn't come into play for 3-4 years later. It looks like they missed a step where they did the research on the curves that are in town on local roads, but they didn't communicate that to us, what their intentions were. So they just showed up and started to install the signs. So in a normal project, they would reach out to us, tell us what they want to do. We would present that to the local traffic authority, all of you, for a motion.
So who actually put the signs up?
DOT,
Yeah,
or a subcontractor of
Gotcha.
DOT.
So some of the residents, they want the signs down?
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't blame them. Like I said, some are on very small side streets in quiet neighborhoods that just don't support. Some of the signs, you'll have a curve ahead, large curve ahead sign, and then 4 or 5 big hash signs that are reflective at night. So we'll have a comprehensive report for you next month.
Okay.
But typically, there would have been one more step to get you guys involved. Sergeant DePasquale has been involved with a safety study on Valley Service Road. This is to address any concerns that the state has since Valley Service Road has been opened to Amazon, and this is just to make the roadway safer. We already started at the town side with lighting along Valley Service Road. So nighttime, the truckers and any employees coming and going, everything's illuminated now. DOT is going to work with their engineers in the town to identify potential street markings, signage, and so on. And again, nothing will be installed from the town side with our funding, our approval, until the commission is given a report.
Has the dumping problem, I know there was a lot of dumping problem they had in there initially, has that been addressed and has it decreased or is it about the same?
Yeah, since it opened up, there's been a lot less. It's not a problem that went away completely. It probably never will go away completely, but it's less of a problem now.
Okay.
I think with the lights, I don't think they're all installed yet. I think that'll help also.
Okay.
The Memorial Day Parade went off without any issues. 55 of our officers participated between road closures and ceremonial positions and assignments, and then the marching unit. So it was well received. We had one of our animal control officers march with us this year. We opened it up to our ACOs and our school resource officers, so it was nice to include them. And we didn't receive any complaints as far as road closures or any issues with that kind of traffic problems. Under training and professional standards, refer to your packet for a very detailed report on the training that's gone on over the last month. We have 2 certified officers who are currently in the background phase of the process. They're both individuals that the commission gave conditional offers of employment to, and we anticipate having the ability to swear them in at the July meeting, the very latest, possibly earlier, but at the latest, the July regular meeting. That will put them on the road on their own by mid-August. With their swearing in, we'll be at full staffed, and that will be full staff of 58 sworn officers, because that new funded position doesn't come into effect until January 2026. We also anticipate 1 sergeant promotion coming up with the retirement of Jeff Marquardt effective June 30th. So I will be able to present that list to the commission and look for a discussion and possible motion for a promotion at the June meeting. Prior to that, I could get the list out to the commissioners.
Perfect.
If you like an opportunity to look at their personnel file between now and then, we're available. Or if you'd like a synopsis of their education, their training, their experience, years of service, I'm sure the chairman could ask me, and I could go through the chairman to get that information out. We have 2 recruit officers who are still in the police academy. That started January 3rd at post. The expected graduation, we were notified today that the graduation will be on June 26th. They have at least 3 months of field training once they graduate from the academy, which puts them on their own sometime in October. Under the USD report, again, these numbers are in the packet, just to highlight a few. In April, we still see an increase in calls for service. This has been a trend the last couple of years. It hasn't plateaued yet, unfortunately. In April this year, we had 2,733 calls for service compared to 2,377 in April last year. Year to date, we were at 9,841 compared to 8,932 last year, so we're still climbing. Motor vehicle stops year to date are just under 1,200 car stops compared to about 1,000 car stops in the same time frame last year. Total citations issued, these are tickets or motor vehicle summons issued after the motor vehicle stop. In April, we had 200 given out compared to 136 in April last year. Year to date, we are at 452 compared to 277 last year. Total arrests are also up. Year to date, 200 custodial arrests compared to 169 last year. Stolen vehicles, we are higher this year compared to last year. Year to date, we're at 31 stolen vehicles compared to 19 last year. And the biggest driver of that was in March, we had 14 stolen cars in just the 1 month. Vehicle burglaries were down with just 1 reported in April compared to 7 at April previous year. And year to date, 33 compared to 52 last year. Does anybody have any questions about those numbers in your packet or that I highlighted at all? No. Under ISD, refer to your packets. There's some very detailed information regarding specific investigations that we're not going to discuss in open session. But we had 5 stolen cars in April. All 5 have been recovered already and processed by detectives. We had 3 commercial burglaries. 2 of them, force was used to gain entry. One of those commercial burglaries, force was not used. We had 1 residential burglary, and again, force was not used. For the Benary Scholarship, I have 1 request for 3 classes. This is Officer De Palma, requesting consideration for 3 classes at the University of Vermont Law and Graduate School.
So we'll discuss that in executive session, if you don't mind, before we take the motion on that.
Sounds good.
And do you know how much money is in the scholarship fund right now?
Last time I looked, there was $8,000.
8,000, okay.
Officer Soda, we talked about this last month with the upcoming. It since has passed. She did a nice job organizing a fundraiser for Special Olympics. That was on May 18th. It's well received. It was the first time she ran this fundraising event, which is always the most difficult, but there were food trucks, canine demonstrations, face painting. So she did a very nice job with that. And the Special Olympics torch run is still scheduled for June 5th, and everything else I have for executive session.
Any questions, gentlemen? Motion to adjourn for executive session for personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are back now in open session after having discussed personnel matters in executive session. I'm going to ask for a motion, or I'll actually make the motion, that upon the retirement of Sergeant Jeff Marquardt, that he be offered the job of supernumerary. His retirement is scheduled for June 30th. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I'd like to say that we're going to table the granting or denial of the Benary Scholarship to Officer De Palma until next month, until we have further discussion on this. So that will be tabled. I'll make a motion for that. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any further business? Motion for adjournment?
So moved?
All in favor? Oh, you have something?
Second.
Sure. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.